I'm very excited for today's sit-down chat because I get to relive one of the best weeks of my life. I spent a week at a surf camp called Puro in El Zonte, El Salvador, and it was incredible. So let's get into it. I chose this location for a couple of reasons. A couple of buddies that I surf with here in South Carolina have already been, so they attested to the safety of the location. I had a group of girlfriends going down to that same beach the next week, but I couldn't go then, so I decided let me still go, but let me find a place where I feel safe and comfortable as a solo female traveler. And then it was winter here in South Carolina. I went the last week of February, and it really helped to get out of the cold and the wetsuit, and as soon as I got there I jumped in the ocean in just my bikini and it was perfect. So I knew I ended up in the right place. I chose Puro because they have a good reputation of helping surfers grow along their time there. They offer two packages. One can be a 3-day surf retreat, and the one that I chose was a 6-day surf retreat. So I flew in on a Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday were all surf instruction days. Now what the day looks like kind of depends on the tide. When you wake up, first thing you might go out and catch your waves for the day, or you might have your breakfast, hang out at the gym, work on your surf drills there. And I didn't mind one way or another. I just wanted to be out there, especially when the waves were best, to really pack a big punch. Now, what I appreciated about Puro is they do take things back to the basics. They have an instructor there that's taught an Olympian, so I knew I was in a good spot. They kind of deconstruct your pop-up. For me, it was of great benefit. I never really gave much thought to a pop-up besides paddle, 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 pop. This breaks it down in a way that connected me to my body, connected me to the board, and where the board sits in the wave. I thought that was incredibly helpful, and I pop up that way now because of it. I think it was super helpful to kind of slow things down. They also have surf instructors there that is your instructor for the week. I had Bouty, a sweet Brazilian surfer dude. Bouty was cool. I knew I hit the jackpot because he was out there in the water with you, giving you real-time constructive feedback, and then also when you getting into the video analysis later, he was really able to break it down. There was not a language barrier there. All the surf instructors do speak English. So here's a day in the life. You will wake up, they have fresh coffee waiting for you at the bar. Say first thing, the tide wasn't in our favor. We head to the gym and we're working on our pop-ups, we're working on our posture, maybe we're working on turning, and we do some exercises with the coaches there. Then it's time to have breakfast, so we'll eat. The kitchen there literally took all stress from me. I didn't have to worry about finding food. I didn't have to worry about healthy food. It was super convenient to have that there, and I knew I was fueled for the workouts to come. So I would always have green juice or an acai bowl or a yogurt bowl in the mornings, packed with protein and healthy fats. Again, super convenient, super efficient for us. Then we would get in the Puro surf van that we had put our surfboards in. We had a driver driving us to different beaches. If one beach maybe looked like it had a better break that day than the one right outside our door. Just a note on the location, Puro is situated right on El Zonte, the beach of El Zonte. It could not have been better. I could have sat by that infinity pool all day long, just watching the waves come in. Even if I didn't surf, I could have hung out there. It was the perfect spot. Speaking of, a restaurant right there and outdoor showers, just a really good hub. People from El Zonte would go there to hang out. The best service ever too. I learned everybody's name. They were super helpful. They'd bring me my coconut with a little straw in it so it was ready to drink just after a surf. So everyone's super sweet and thoughtful and intentional, and that really carried throughout all of Puro. We get to our surf spot and we wax the boards if we needed to. The coaches would give us a rundown on where the break is it breaking right or left, where there might be rocks. Now with each surf session came a videographer. So we had the videographer in the van with us, and I knew that all of my waves would be recorded. This was probably the most instrumental thing for me the whole retreat, because not only is it cool to see yourself doing something that you love, but also being able to slow it down and receive helpful critiques to work on subsequent days that changed the game for me as far as my surf skill is concerned. So that is one of the #1 reasons why I chose Puro. I knew I wanted to improve. Also, just a note of kudos for adults that take the time to work on something for a week, and that they set aside the time, not to mention it was a point in my life where I was burnt out with work and I really needed to get away. But you take a week to be intentional about something, to learn, to grow, to make mistakes. When do we do that as adults? So yeah, in retrospect, it was probably more impactful than I thought of in the moment. Very good on a surfer level and a human level. Yeah, what a great place. So the location was out of this world. We'd be out surfing for about 2 hours. The coaches were in the water with us and they were giving us real-time feedback, and also knowing that when we get back to Puro that we're able to go through the videos. It was all super helpful. I feel bad talking about a con, but I feel like it's valuable to know and address if you go into a similar situation. I came in an intermediate surfer. I knew how to read waves, catch waves, paddle into waves, all of the things. That was not the case for everyone in my group. Again, I chose the 6-day program. The majority of the surfers were there for 3 days. The first 2 days were on foam boards. Now, if I were to go back, which I probably will, I will stress that there's no use of me being on a foam board. Maybe a half of a day to really work on that pop-up and to nail that. And I wish that perhaps another surf instructor would have gone off on the side with me and another more experienced surfer. But all of that to say, have them know your surf level before going in. I mean, the staff and surf coaches are very active on WhatsApp, so you can send them videos of yourself and your skill and how you surf. This is not super expensive, but it's not inexpensive, and you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth for surf instruction, maximizing your time in the water and on a board that you're going to learn on. All of that to say, I would still go back. It was just frustrating being on a foamy and getting tossed around in the white water when I could have been on the green waves. Anyways, I had 6 amazing days of waking up, checking the waves, drinking fresh coffee, reading, relaxing, surfing. The session that you have that's videoed and with the surf instructor, that's not your only session of the day. You can certainly grab your board and go out in the waves right at your front door. That's great too. In fact, they encourage it. You would come back from your surfing session. You would go over all of the videos with a delicious ginger and turmeric shot every single day. I swear that I have never felt healthier. Just spending that week there, I felt incredibly healthy. And even though I was in a hostel, I slept well every night. I woke up refreshed. I was ready to do it all again.
There we go. Wow, yeah.
Okay, so you go over your surf instruction, and then what was super helpful, we would either go back in the gym or we would go in the skate bowl. Me and surf skate don't get along. I would rather wipe out in the water all day, but something about this surf skate, just even with a helmet, didn't I have a helmet? I didn't have a helmet. Even with Bauti or Tito, my coaches, they were right there next to me the whole time. Just a little cautious, a little bit. But still, that's how they really pound the form of keeping your shoulders forward. And when you're on the surf skate, you can tell how a little adjustment in your arms or your core can change the trajectory of the board. Now, I did not get in the bowl. I remained on the chalk on the flat surface, but I had some friends tearing it up in the bowl. Props to them. If I go back, I will master that. Knock on wood. But I'll bring my own helmet. That was so scary. But all of that to say, everything we learned, everything that we learned in the gym, everything we learned in the water, and everything we learned on the surf skate could translate to each other, and easily all of these dots were connected. And once you find that flow, you can't wait for the next surf session. You're getting up there bright and early, sore as all get out, but each day you find yourself growing, you find yourself improving, which just, again, I'm super grateful for. And not just Puro, but I'm figuring every surf retreat could be like that. But I do want to give special props to Puro. They were so welcoming and kind to me as a solo female traveler. I felt safe. I felt well cared for. Again, it was paradise right there. There were many outdoor showers to take advantage of, or everything was super clean, and the pools, not to mention the retreats. We were able to go on a really beautiful hike to a waterfall. We did a cold water plunge. They had a massage included. We did yoga multiple times. Every day was something different, and every day was so incredibly beautiful. Now, when can I go back? When can I go back? If you haven't checked it out, check out my last surf of the trip there. This was separate from the coaching. The last morning I was there before I hopped on a plane, I went for a sunrise surf, and it could just show you how blue the water was, how beautiful the beach is, and hopefully you can feel where my feet were. Just being present. Things to think about. El Salvador uses the United States dollar, so bring cash. Additionally, I used Airlo, and I'll link a discount code in my description, but I didn't have to contact my phone carrier at all. I just downloaded an app and I was able to get phone service as soon as I landed there in the airport, which was important because I was talking with my driver via WhatsApp. Additionally, you can bring your own surfboard, you can bring your own skateboard, but they had a massive quiver, and I knew I would find something I could surf there. If I were to go back, I would get a private hotel room this time and not just a hostel room, but again, there was nothing wrong with that. Something else worth mentioning, even if you don't use Puro, have an airport transfer set up before you leave the airport or before you get on your flight. Exiting the airport, I was very overwhelmed with all of the taxi drivers begging for your business, yelling, hooting, hollering. But as soon as I saw my guy with a sign that said Montana, I was much more at ease because that was a lot. Again, the food, they had a menu that I ordered breakfast, lunch, and dinner from. I paid for everything at the end. I think maybe everything for a week was $200. It was very reasonable. Not to mention, I would get snacks, I would get green juice, I would get fresh coconut water after every surf. That was incredible. They give you a very nice welcome bag with your surf journal, a surf rash guard, a Puro surf hat, some wax, some reef safe sunscreen. Again, props to Puro, props to Bauti and Tito, my awesome surf coaches. Amazing yoga instructor. They really put a lot of thought into this retreat, and I would go again in a heartbeat. If I were to do it again, I would make sure they know my skill level going into it. This place is a dream. It is so beautiful, and for me, being on the East Coast, straight from Atlanta, it's easy to get to. I would really enjoy going again. I know that. Thanks, Puro. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I would love to help point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching.